Hey everybody, Joshua Hanlon here with
Yes.
Matthew K. And we are about to start our tour of the entire convention floor of BrickCon. And at the beginning, we're here joined by Wayne, and he is the kind of convention coordinator of this show. So what wise words do you have to share with us before we start this tour?
Wise words? There are no wise words. My words are always have fun. Share.
That's right. And we're starting next to this large, beautiful model of the Seattle Space Needle right here. What can you tell us about that?
That was built in 2012 as a commemorative to the 50th anniversary of the original Space Needle debut for the World's Fair, and it is built as the 1962 version of the Space Needle. It's orange roof, missing 100 level restaurant, missing the big old curvy thing at the bottom.
Okay.
But that's the original way that those elevator access points looked.
What was the design process like? I noticed there was a steel pipe in the center.
Well, if you're going to build a tall tower out of Lego, you better be able to figure out how to hold it up there. I could use guy wires, or I could use my mind and put something together through the middle, which is what I did. But the steel does not hold up the brick. The brick holds up the steel. The steel just keeps the brick from going sideways.
That's really impressive. So how tall is this?
To the tip, 14 feet, and you know how they measure buildings, always the tip of the antenna. So, but it's actually about 13 feet.
Okay. Very cool. How many sections, or how does that break down to like move this around to the show each year?
It's about 80 subsections and a whole bunch of bits and parts that tie those together at the last minute. It takes about 4 hours to assemble, and it takes 3 people to do it.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Wayne.
Yes. Thank you. So we are going to start this tour.
Enjoy the show.
That's right. Okay, so let's get this tour started. So this is the model we were talking about with Wayne earlier, the wonderful Seattle Space Needle. We're going to start the tour. Oh, yes. Okay, so these are all his builds right here. He is very talented. So you can see all of this incredible work he has done at the beginning of our tour here, the Seattle Space Needle. What else do we have here?
Well, we have the Smith Tower, I believe, in downtown Seattle. Walk us through what just very briefly.
Smith Tower, built in 2003. Space Needle, built in 2012. Totem Pole, built in 2006. Ferry Boat, built in 2002, is shown the very first time at first BrickCon, and it has not been shown until today or this weekend again.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
That is very cool.
That one's my, I don't know how to say signature, but I started that one I had the design finished in 1978. And people are always asking me, well, what CAD system did you use? I said, I had it done in 1978.
That didn't. Well, maybe like NASA had it, right? But
you know when the IBM personal computer came out? Yeah. About 85. Yeah, okay. So yeah. That's awesome. But then I ended up. It took me 25 years to get the parts and stuff for it, and then by the time I got to getting the parts, which didn't start happening until about 2000.
After the internet was invented.
After I discovered the internet.
Yeah.
It was actually invented at least a year or two before I discovered it. Then I started getting into getting parts on eBay and BrickLink to be able to finish it. It took me about a year to build after that, but I had to redesign it one more time because it used to have 2 brick thick walls. Now it only has 1 brick thick walls. And I found a few errors on my paper drawings because of that. But in the meantime, it weighs in about 100 pounds. It's 7 feet long, and it's cut because my van wouldn't hold its whole 7 feet. My van holds 5 feet, no problem. So I cut it. And I could have cut it in the middle, but I thought this was a bit more interesting.
That's awesome.
But so that was my big break into building big. Although I built lots of big things before that, but nobody ever saw them. I mean, like I had a 3-foot long Millennium Falcon that was really, really well detailed, except it was just rainbow.
That's awesome.
And then the next big one was, next one big after that was the Smith Tower, which only took a very short time to do, but it had one advantage in that during the acquisition of parts on that, Lego was selling certain parts in little baggies. So those little windows that you see, they were selling them in baggies of 25. And I bought enough that I think I ended up buying like 4,000 windows. Didn't quite use them all, but pretty close.
And it was those parts, the same one that like the sand red 1x2s came in like a bag of 50 or something, right? Like they just sell
like
parts.
Yeah, they're just a single part in a bag. You could select the parts from maybe a pile of 30 or 40 different parts. but it wasn't by piece; it was by bag, $6-7 a bag, and that was actually through their mail order, that's what they called it back then. And that took like about a year to design. And the weird thing about that is that my wife suggested, "Hey, why don't you try the Smith towers?" I went, "Oh, okay." That was not a real plan. But as soon as I started looking and working on it, I really looked at it and worked on it. And you'll notice that a lot of detail. And the detail is caused by just a couple things. The gray headlight brick or washing machine brick, there are about 4,000 of those in it. The Technique 1x2 brick, there's about 2,000 of those with a stud stuck into it. So it gives that dinner plate look to all the little details. And all the little bars going across, that's a 1x14 brick with that little arch thing that was the garage door thingy. And that particular part is the only part that's 1x14. They're on the right places, on the right floors, and there needed to be 14s. It just worked out. On the totem pole, that was done in 2006. I developed what I call Lego plywood. The wings are almost 7 foot span, or about 7.5 foot span. They're only 2 studs thick. That's it, just 2 studs thick. And they will not come apart unless I take them apart. They are interleaved with vertical and horizontal pieces. On the back is the horizontal and the front are the vertical. And if you're getting visuals of it, look in the green angled stripes for the black dots. Those are axles going through to the back. There are white ones, there are red ones. They're too long. They're going from a brick with an axle hole to a brick with an axle hole. And the numbers on that are geometrically perfect from Lego directly. I didn't develop that. I just observed it. Just what they've been doing with Technique.
5, right, or something like that. Yeah.
It's 4 studs between or 4 layers between. Yeah. It's what they've been doing with Lego Technique for years, and they've really expanded on that lately. If you notice, a lot of your kits have the little 1x5 studless beam or a 1x3 studless beam to hold verticals together. That's just an expanded version of that. It is based on a real totem pole that's based up in Stanley Park in Vancouver, and it's about half scale.
That's awesome.
And it's half done. The bear's head, there's the bear's body, and it holds a human by the shoulders to the ground, which if that part was added, it'd be about another 5 feet taller.
So you'll be adding to this as the years go by.
Well, let's see. It's 10 years old now. I should add to it, about 2020? Yeah, it'll be about
awesome.
Scale.
So keep coming to BrickCon because you never know what might come.
It may actually show up at BrickCon first because I took it to BrickCon. It was the first showing in 10 years there. This is just the second showing this year. And I brought it specifically to them because it was in Vancouver. It is one of their landmarks. And to me, we just wanted to help celebrate Canada's first convention. They're our baby sister, if you will.
Yes, BrickCon and BrickCan.
Yeah, and they certainly can.
That's awesome.
All right, and then the Space Needle came about sometime back before either of those two were thought of. I've been working on a Space Needle for 15 years on figuring out the design work for it. And it came down to, I could get the bricks to work, I had to get the pieces. That's always the problem with something that's 50, 60,000 pieces, especially when it's almost all white and just a few different variations. But the important part on that was I could put the top house up, the Lego would hold it up, unless a breeze blew at it. And I said that would not be a suitable thing to display in front of thousands of people. So I had to put a steel armature through the middle, but the steel armature is not holding the brick up. The brick is, in fact, holding the steel up. Unless you push on it sideways, and then the steel takes over.
Thank you, Wayne. So we will continue on down the mosaics then, and then kind of work our way around the hall right here. So we actually have kind of the first build. We have the builder right here. If you want to share a few words with us, if you don't mind, on what this build is here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Paul Hetherington, and this is The Edge of Glory, which is a Day of the Dead inspired creation. It's kind of a tribute to a CLUG member named Heather Bratton, who passed away about 5 years ago. And mainly it was just an excuse to use as many crazy colors as I possibly could. Kind of inspired by the Book of Life. I got the Book of Life art book, and I basically was super inspired by that and saw that a lot of the new Lego colors were perfect for Mexican-themed creation. And then I just kind of went crazy. It's not based on any particular model. It's basically out of my head. And I just kind of went for it.
It's the Most tasteful combination of the most wackiest palette of colors I've ever seen. So congratulations.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is really great. The moving parts and everything, it's awesome.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Very impressive. So yeah, we'll keep moving down then. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Keep moving down. Let's see. We've got an interesting set of kind of color-coded builds here done by Colin Hemman, who is a really talented builder displaying at BrickCon this year.
Based in Hawaii, fun fact.
Yes, so he comes all the way from Hawaii here. So moving down here, lots of cool mosaics. We got a Death Star Rising. Here's a Serenity Firefly mosaic. Then you've got, what is that, some Star Trek back there. See if I can get all these kind of like pop culture movie things correct. In the back, you've got Superman versus Batman. That's really impressive. Superman on the left there, Batman on the right. The way they did sort of 3D with the black in front and the colors in the back. Very cool.
Nice memorial mosaic here. Picture of Joseph Alfeche. And so it looks like it's a tribute by Andrew Alfeche, so maybe a brother, cousin, something like that. That's very, very cool, very touching.
Keep moving down around the pole here, and we have really neat Yoda mosaic, Star Wars cube here that spins around and has several different Star Wars mosaics. A really awesome BB-8 design back there that's just incredible. You look at the way that was put together, the detail and everything. It's just perfect. And I think we need to mention this very unique, sort of funny build here. If you look at the description on the mock card there, BrickCon 2015 fire alarm. So last year, you might remember a video we posted of the fire alarm going off and us talking to people as they flooded out of the building because the fire alarm was going off. So someone decided to make a build of that this year. And then moving on down, got a cool treasure chest.
The Belay Madness, and so this is like a recreation of like the Cafe Corner and Market Street and the Green Grocer, all in Belay. And if you know anything about these sets, you know that they cost an absurd amount of money on the aftermarket. So I almost see this as like a subtle, beep you to the prices of these sets in the secondary market. Because to buy these would be what, $5,000, $6,000?
Right, something insane. So
and then coming on down, what is that? A mosaic of
Homer Simpson? Yeah. Yes, Homer Simpson right there, which is very cool. Then let's see here. As we make our way down, we've got Build with kind of the Spaceman Benny. Then we are in Seattle, so obviously Seattle Seahawks number 12 right there. Great build. And then here's kind of an interesting, we got some framed sort of Lego, fancier Lego photos here, which is kind of a different type of display. So that's cool. So lots of great stuff on that side. Then we come around here, you can see Matthew modeling on the BrickCon logo, the red, blue, and yellow bricks there. Is that a comfortable seat? It's very sturdy.
No, it's not that comfortable. Not really that comfortable at all.
It doesn't look like it'd be comfortable, so we should probably keep moving.
Really?
We should, yeah. Okay. So coming along here, let's go around this area. We've got the
Playwell is a company that they do like Lego engineering camps for kids. And this is like their display to get people to sign up for different camps. So if you're in the Seattle, Tacoma metro area,
free Lego wrap.
That's all you need to know. What are we seeing over here?
Here we've got a whole line of Bionicle. So all sorts of Bionicle by, I think, several different builders that kind of did stuff along here. So lots of really neat stuff. I really like this one here, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name, but it's gold and very impressive.
And one of the funny things about Bionicle is that in like conventions at like Virginia and stuff, there's like a ton of Bionicle. But when you get here, for some reason, there's a very small amount of Bionicle. If you went to like Virginia, you would notice that there's tables and tables and tables of Bionicle. But here, we're only looking at, what is this, like barely 2 tables of Bionicle?
Right. So it depends on the convention you go to. The BZ Power folks sometimes show up more in force in some shows than others.
Definitely. And then moving on down here, we have some interesting Technic creations over here. These are Technic, I guess what would you say, Technic drawing robots almost?
Yeah. These are something you see at some shows around the country, and they put a pen in kind of a robotic motion, and it makes all these cool different pictures and stuff. You can see some of them on the table there that they made throughout the day. It's really neat the way these work. with the different motions they can program them in.
Now, does this ball over here, is it like an expanding ball? You know those like in the toy store they have
yeah, like a little kid. Yeah,
Does it do that?
I am not sure actually. That's a good question. We could pick it up, but I feel like that'd be irresponsible of us.
Oh, okay. So I think I have an idea for what it is. So you look at the little controller on the side, and then you see the motors and the wheels in it.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's like a drivable ball or something. That's very cool.
Okay, keep moving down around here.
Here's an R2-D2.
And just an interesting point here, the way BrickCon works, it's kind of different than some shows because they've got this overhang. Matthew's really pumped up for this tour. They've got this overhang where they put all the vendors underneath, and so they're kind of out of the way from the main displayers at the show. So all of the vendors are underneath this display area here. Just kind of an interesting point there before we continue on and show the rest of the builds. Coming this way, we've got here's another BB-8, so that's cool. And then several different Star Wars builds here. I think last year we made a video with this R2-D2 moving around and everything, so you might remember that from this show.
That's so cool. So they have a compressed air can that's like being held in place, and then obviously the compressed air can is like triggered.
I would not touch.
No, I'm not going to touch it. Of course not. But like that's how it shoots stuff. Is the compressed air like? Shoo. That's pretty amazing. So this is a really, really cool build. As you can see, there's wood inside. I mean, how would you build this without wood or real materials? Still, it's totally amazing.
Is Lego not a real material?
Lego is a real material, but Lego can like only do certain things before it starts to break and bad things happen, you know?
Very true. Okay, so moving on. We'll start around this kind of area. And this whole round square rectangle, I guess would be the correct word for what this shape is of tables. We're going to start with this massive, the Multnomah Falls, if I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's in Oregon. It's really awesome. It's a real waterfall that this Eric Mattson based his build off of.
Multnomah.
Yes, something like that.
And look, there's a Benny the Spaceman with a Madness flag, which is the theme, as Wayne told us earlier, of BrickCon 2016.
That's correct. And so there's this whole bridge that runs across the falls, and you can see how massive it is. I think he said it's something like 8 feet tall at least. It might have probably more than that. So it's just incredible, this whole build. We're going to keep moving around the tables this direction. You've got Rainbow Island, so you can all the different colors. Here's a giant Minecraft creeper, so for all you Minecraft fans.
What's Minecraft again, Josh?
Minecraft is a computer game loved by 8-year-olds throughout the world and some adults as well. It's very popular, so this is kind of a cool Lego creeper from that game. What do we got here, Matthew?
This is a computer, and it's funny because it's like a pirate computer thing. And so this is like a disc burning station. So it's like pirate media, you know, aka like illegal stuff. It's very cool. It's very cool.
Yes.
Also a freakishly massive computer like space, but totally amazing.
That's right.
And look at that LED thing that says like BrickCon 2016. That's one of the things that spins around with the light. All right, let's go.
Okay, very cool. Moving on down here, it looks like we have the builder by this build. So if you don't mind, you just want to share a few words real quick with what you have here. I can hold it out.
So this is just an abandoned house in the forest. The main elements here that I wanted to do is a unique color palette. I wanted to use base plates that I'd never seen used before. So like these old Western roads from when it was like 96 or 97. It's all Lego, it's all genuine, no painted stuff.
Did this make an appearance at Brick's Cascade, or was it BrickCon? Brick's Cascade.
So this is my second convention. This is my first mock ever.
Oh, wow.
Came out of the Dark Ages about a year and a half ago. So yeah, it just kind of came together and just trying to do a unique color palette and use some pieces that I hadn't seen before. And it's all kind of like my own design. I didn't really look on the internet or anything for stonework or how to do all this. It just kind of bought a whole bunch of pieces in bulk and just kind of started building. So
now this is your first mock, and you're a new AFOL. What do you think of Lego as a hobby?
it's awesome. I mean, I've been dreaming about doing something like this for about 10 years. So finally was like, kind of had like a midlife crisis. I'm not that old, but it was like,
hey, this is a heck of a lot better than a Porsche. That's all.
Right, exactly. So I kind of came back and was like, well, I should build something. And this, so it's kind of practical. This is my kitchen counter. That's why it's an L shape. And I needed something tall for the backsplash of my stove. So had to build a mountain. So there's kind of elements of this that kind of came out from like the environment that it stays in. So I'm trying to decide what to do next. Part of it is like using the same space and do like a story. So it's for sale, right? So maybe a minifig comes in and buys it and they develop the land and it's a mine or construction, get that huge bucket wheel thing and just spin all these trees out of here. So that might be the next thing, I don't know.
Well, very cool. Thank you for telling us about it. Appreciate it. This is an awesome build for your first mock. Thank you. Keep moving down here. This is
Kind of
Crazy Town.
Thing. It's like a lot
So-
of trains going around in the air.
Some great colors here. So you notice kind of with the island earlier, and then this, you got all sorts of interesting colors. Some of the brighter, pinks, reds, whatever you have here. So really impressive, colorful model. And down this direction, we have Matthew looking at Instagram real quick. I feel like that's
So earlier today we asked Joseph Zwada, or no, we didn't ask Joseph Zwada. We just posted something on Instagram. And we said we're doing interviews right now. There's the photo, and we said, what do you want to see? And Joseph Zwada said, I actually think it would be fun to interview non-LEGO staff working at the event. What do you think of the A-Full Magic? So we have some non-LEGO staff over there. Joshua, do us a favor and ask them what they think of BrickCon.
Let's head that direction. We're gonna come over here. Come on over, Matthew. We're gonna. Okay.
So go ahead.
What do you guys think of the show here? Are you impressed with the builds? You like the builds? What's your favorite build around here? Do you have like Star Wars fans or Castle, anything like that? You don't know.
We posted on Instagram earlier today. We said to people, what do you want to see about this expo hall, and what do you want us to make videos about? And someone asked us. They said it would be fun to interview the non-LEGO staff. Like, so people, what do they think of the LEGO event? Yeah. You think it's cool?
It's cool, but I don't have no idea though.
So here's a question: what's the craziest show you've ever seen come through here?
I like that show, the building.
The big ship.
Yeah, the big ship.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that one too.
Very impressive. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Okay. So that was for Joseph Zawada. We're going to keep moving down here. Here's a couple large Lord of the Rings builds. The Black Gate of Mordor. Very cool. And Helm's Deep down here. And I have to say, I've always been partial to Helm's Deep as just kind of a general architectural design, and I think that's a really cool part of the movie and everything. So I really like this build. There's interesting rock work here. The way they did this, kind of a minimalist. Not very parts intensive there to kind of make the mountain. So that's interesting. Keep heading down this direction. This is Rainbow Warrior Fabulars.
So if you know Lego Fabuland, so this is incorporating as many Fabuland pieces into that build.
So it's supposed to have all those different colors and everything. So that's cool. And down this direction, Millennium Falcon.
Pretty cool.
Iconic Star Wars build.
Kind of a cool. This is like you see this at LEGO conventions all over the country, right? So you have like all kinds of Miniland builds. This
Micropolis here.
Miniland, Micropolis, whatever you call it.
I think the Micropolis builders will be upset at you for going there.
That's incredibly embarrassing. It is Micropolis, yeah. But this is a particularly interesting one. So the Flatiron building, which is cool, and then they have like a pretty interesting little metro station there. Very cool.
That's right. Okay. And then here's the Lego house, which has been making the rounds to several different Lego conventions throughout the country. So this is really cool. I think there was even a talk from some Lego employees on this building here at BrickCon. Lots of interesting stuff to see there. That should be opening up, as the sign says, 2017. So that's neat.
Some pyramids in Modulix.
That's right. Here's some Giza Modulix pyramids, which is very cool. I really like that. You even got a little Modulix Sphinx there.
Joshua, you're Egyptian, right?
I am. I'm 92% Egyptian, so that's really close to my heart, those builds. Down here we have...
What do we cool. These look like more almost like Micropolis kind of builds, but look at these, the new tooth pieces and the other like tooth pieces, and these are some interesting use of the... I think that is it's a new 1x1 tile piece, but it has like half of a 1x1 round tile projecting off the side of it. It's like a little like chiclet kind of a piece, you know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely. I think I do. I'm not up on the new pieces.
Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I like those designs. You don't have to know the piece to appreciate the designs. Here's an interesting set of builds. that I saw earlier that I thought was pretty cool. This is a set of the LDS temples throughout the country, and actually throughout the world.
You'll be converted, so don't. Come on. They'll convert you if you don't. Come on.
I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's not true.
All right, that's kind of inappropriate. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll keep moving on.
Someone was making that joke earlier when I was watching people look at these creations.
You just repeat what you hear.
Yes.
Okay, so now we have reached kind of mini land.
Now we
down
have
here.
reached
Yes.
mini land down there.
So this is the mini con, and so you'll see recreations of builds at the convention in very small scale here.
Yeah, so what you'll see are like recreations of builds in the convention, but like at a smaller scale.
That's right. I feel like I've heard that before. Okay. So all sorts of cool stuff. You got spaceships, you got planes, you got the city builds. Back in the back there, defense 12, Seahawks fans. So the Seahawks are very big here in Seattle. If you didn't know that, the T-shirt stand is very cool. I like that. There's the brick built shirts. I think are a cool idea. Got kind of a baseball diamond there. What else we got down here?
Here's the Great Ball Contraption. It's pretty cool. Joshua, what's your favorite part of the Great Ball Contraption?
I think
Your favorite style mechanism?
my favorite style of mechanism is here at BrickCon. I like the big wheel. I think that's my favorite one here at BrickCon is the see-through wheel. That's really cool.
Well, for me, it's always something that has like hypnotic motion, like
Right.
a wave module, or like something where it's like you can just stare at it and you get like
Archimedes
sucked.
screw type thing where it just kind of goes and goes.
Exactly, like that thing with it just kind of goes in circle, but like that's not rhythmic, like something rhythmic where it has like an oscillation kind of a thing going. So I think we're gonna have to jump around a bit. So we're coming up to the what's the name of that falls again?
I'd have to look at the mock card. I couldn't pronounce it correctly. when I was looking at it before.
Moltmouth.
Something like that. But we're gonna catch
This Technic.
this set of builds right here. Yeah, Technic. So you've got a bunch of cool gear balls here, like a bunch of different styles of gear balls. Which are very interesting. You might have seen some gear ball videos we've done in the past on the channel.
I believe I turned gearballs into a thing.
That's right.
and
I think you can take 100% credit for
I can't take 100% credit. I can take like 1% credit, and 99% of the credit can go to John Matz, who originated the gearball in our video series of gearballs. I think we have a few now.
But here's some cool ones from Chris Gear, I believe, is the builder of these. So
This is a gearball on Miracle Grow.
that's right. They get larger here. We also have this massive, awesome crane, large mobile crane built by Andrew and Noah Carson. So this thing's incredible. They were driving this around on the floor the other day, and it was just amazing.
What are the two things that you just know? I just noticed two things that I'd never noticed before. What is that?
There appears to be like an Xbox controller in the back
And a
there.
bunch of copper, like something, or like metal, something.
They have like a counterweight in the back there or something.
Gold ingots and an Xbox controller, or something like that. Well, this is a cool like light play creation.
Yeah, flying saucers. So there's a light right here that I'm assuming you turn on, and that thing moves around, and you get some cool effects that way. I think they have this running during the public hours. All this Technic stuff moves, and it's really neat to see it running.
Definitely. And I think we're going to do another bit of skipping. Where are we going to head over to next, Joshua?
We are going to head to this set of rectangles, which is mostly castle stuff.
All right. What's this? Is this the thing in the south of France?
Is Mont Saint Michel, which is in like Normandy area in France. Who's a very talented builder. Bob Weiss did this, and just so much detail here. I love this. This has always been one of my favorite castles in the world. It's just incredible. You can see a real life photo of it here. Very, very cool, and he did a great job depicting the houses and the castle portion of it.
But this is almost like a Disneylandified version, right? So like he's subtracting certain elements, but he's like rendering the essence of it, and he's making it like minifig scale and like actually doable and approachable, which is a really cool like idea because it's obvious what it is, but it's obviously not like a 150% accurate.
Right. And you can see, we need to point out the Beyond the Brick sticker that the builder has just lovingly displayed right there.
May or may not have interviewed said builder about some said creation.
Possibly. I don't know. But moving down here, another very talented builder who I'm sure you're familiar with, Alice Finch, who we've talked to before and is well known for large Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings builds. This is a German castle, Burg Eltz. So this is kind of another really detailed build. She used very small plates and stuff to get a lot of little detail in this build, the roofs and everything. Excellent castle builder.
It really looks like something that was built over time. You know, there's like these things projecting out of it and all kinds of angles. Like they just kind of kept building and building and building, and she did a really good job of, you know, making it look like that, right?
Exactly, yeah. So lots more cool creations down here. We'll keep moving this direction. As I mentioned, this is the castle area, so you'll see a lot of that. So this is a whole long castle layout. Andrew Schultz. Long Live the Queen is the name of this build, and you've got kind of the village down at this end, and then you move into the big gray castle. What do we have down here, Matthew?
I don't know. What is that? It's like a evil thing. It looks like a sort of a crazy slug or something suspended from the... Is there something to enlighten us about this in the...
Something here about Wizard's Defense. I don't
Demons from another dimension? It's crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on.
This is intense. Now here is lots of cool moving stuff on this build. So this is Unite the Magic, and you can see the Madness sign down there again. And this is kind of a collaborative between several builders. Really cool stuff. You've got moving dragon, these trees, the nice background to kind of give it the sky and everything, and the moving waterfall.
And very cool, they are currently running, and by they I mean the LEGO community team, the Rebrick team in particular, are running a LEGO Friends contest that's making appearances at conventions. I believe it's just across North America, but this is obviously going to be an entry for that contest. So maybe they'll get the full range of Friends sets. I think that's the prize, right?
I think so. So that'd be a really cool prize. I think they have a good chance of getting it. So moving down here, we've got some smaller castle builds, but here's a tall one, the Climb. So this is kind of a big... small mountain that builds into an interesting large cathedral building there, so that's kind of cool.
And here we have a build by a gentleman named Reed Yeager, and Reed is, what would you call him, a friend of Beyond the Brick at this point?
I would say he's a friend of Beyond the Brick, yes.
What is Reed? Reed bought like a t-shirt as part of our 24-hour charity build. Reed has sat behind the table where he was displaying his creation with Kevin Hinkle and myself, just talking about nothing during the what was it, the World of Lights at Brickworld Chicago.
Yes, yeah.
Reed is a great guy. Reed's a great. This has a great backstory to it. It's in support of different charitable endeavors that Reed sort of partners with, or he does what different sort of like kids with cancer, all kinds of.
It's called Hope Castle, yeah. So he kind of does all sorts of really great activities.
And real quick, what does that look like?
We aren't going to tell you. Leave a comment and tell us what that looks like.
Well, we're in Seattle. There's what? Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, leave a comment, and maybe we'll send you a minifigure if you like. Leave a comment, you tell us what that is. If you got to this part of the video and you're still interested in what we're saying. In any case, let's keep going.
I feel like we need to point out this fun little. There's a Elsa, I believe, with a couple Tommy guns. So I feel like that's a really great part of the build.
Friends gone bad or wrong or something. All right. This is really cool.
Lakeside Village. Let's see, we've got kind of nice rock work here. You can see they use kind of the part stumping technique for the water.
Liberal part stumping.
Yeah. Really neat houses, the architecture and everything, and then some cool leaf colors as well for the trees. I like that.
The two techniques that play in this whole build that I think are particularly interesting are the windmill using the cheese slopes to get the shutter effect, which is very cool, and then also the inverted stems with like leaves or whatever. It's like it looks like a spruce, kind of a pine tree, or in this case, I guess it's kind of looking like some sort of seaweed or some sort of plant that would grow in water. So very cool.
Also the round tower technique, I love that.
That's
the round
really
towers
cool.
are so cool.
With the tiles kind of stuck on at crazy angles.
Yes.
And then coming on down here, we have a builder named Michael. Well, this is a modular castle system. We talked to you about this last year, right?
Yeah, you did. I've made some changes and some advancements since last year.
What's new?
We've got some modules over here that stick on the side. So this castle here is all made from these modules. So you can see I've got some things sticking out from the towers this year that kind of give it some more depth and dimension, like these corner towers here. And that really kind of brings it out a little bit more. And I've got some round towers here as before it was all the square. And it really fits on the same system as before. It's based on these 8x8 blocks or rooms. And there's pegs around the top. And that allows you to stack them like this or connect them like this. And then the modules hang off the side. So this castle here is made all from these same modules that you have here.
Very cool. To close us out here, what do you have planned for this going forward? Are there any big items that you hope to kind of tackle in the next year or two? Or?
You know, I don't know. It's on LEGO Ideas. So hopefully LEGO will take a look at it. It's called the Kingdoms Modular Castle Creator because it's a creator set. So we'll see. A couple magazines have picked it up and have articles in it about it, Bricks and Brick Journal. So I'm really thrilled about that. So we'll just see where it goes.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. And then moving on down.
Yes. So if we keep moving down this direction, kind of a winter-themed castle build. So you see they kind of did the blue ice here. You got all the snow all over. Down here, this it's not running right now, but these minifigs on the walls here actually kind of are on a conveyor belt and move through. So it looks like they're sort of doing sentry duty, you might say, as they walk along the walls because the moving parts there. Actually looks like it's open. You can see how some of that works in there with the motors.
7-Eleven is always,
Yeah, it's just a 7-Eleven and a medieval castle. Those go together quite nicely.
they're everywhere.
Right, every corner. So down here, some more really cool castle builds. You've got this one here is kind of Friends themed with some Lord of the Rings orcs and things. That's really great. Here's a whole bunch of sort of mechs and that type of build. So all sorts of really neat techniques in there. Very cool stuff. I really like this one here, the Titan right here, built by Benjamin Michael, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We got some lighting in there, all sorts of cool stuff on that build. Coming around this direction.
All right, so let's just take a photo real quick for Instagram.
Okay.
We're in the middle of the tour.
Yes, middle of the tour.
All right, good stuff.
Okay,
Good stuff.
so yeah, that's a live photo shoot right there. Then here you've got Connor Lill, who's a super talented builder and does a lot of builds like this. He's part of Virtual Lug. This is one of his builds here. This big kind of walker. He calls this an artillery platform hammerhead. So really cool. He does displays around the country with his work. Very talented. Keep moving this direction, getting into the steampunk area here. All sorts of neat little steampunk builds. Let's see, you got the Happy Palace there. That's an opium den. You've got the Copperhead. This is kind of a model sort of bike there, which is really neat. And then coming down this direction, all sorts of cool stuff. Do you have some builds right here?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm Eric Wilkinson. I built the reddish brown dwarf. So if you're a fan of British humor, this is based on the red dwarf. So it's a floating rock biting ship. So the ship is mining the rock, but the crew's pretty much disappeared. You're left with a small crew. You've got the mechanical man, Crichton. The guy playing the guitar would obviously be Lister. The somewhat ghost would be Rimmer. The cat is obviously Cat. Something I'll show real quick here.
Yeah.
Won this trophy for the best in flight. And let me show this thing.
What is this? That's awesome.
So this is a quadcopter, and I did make it mechanical, so it spins. I'd like to attach a motor eventually to it, and then it's got the steam piston on it, which runs.
Very cool.
And then this is where I got the idea for the ball turret, which showed up on another one of my mocks, which you'll probably look at later, or something like that. So it's fully spinnable.
Cool play features there. Yeah.
The balloon ride, the Octomech, that's one of my favorites. So I really enjoy steampunk. But, I did some other stuff here too, so you might see it.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. Appreciate you showing that to us. Great builds there. And keep moving around this corner of the display. Some more neat steampunk stuff. You got Wave City here. And then what this next display is just incredible. This was done by a team build of a kid and his mom. So that's really awesome. They built all of this. This is kind of Metalbeard's castle and then his theme park down here. And it's just amazing all the details they put in here. So this is kind of what it would look like if Metalbeard's home island sort of thing. Really, really awesome stuff here. As we show some of the details and keep moving down this direction. Here is another great castle creation. You've got kind of the waterfall on this side. You've got a moat. This is the castle part and some great landscaping work out front here. This was built by Dakota Spencer, and if I believe I heard correctly, this is his first convention that he's displayed at, which is really awesome. So he really, gave it his all and brought it just an incredible creation here. This looks so great, very impressive. Down here we have a collaborative, and you can see some of the builders in the background there that worked on this collaborative. So in like 2 sentences, how would you describe this build? Awesome! Okay, I think that's all you need right there. So that pretty much describes this. I believe this is World War II, 1949. So you get some futuristic technology if World War II had continued here. So very, very cool. What do we have back here?
Wizards of Ooze. Do you see that? That's funny. And
Okay.
it's portable restrooms. Is this yours? That's kind of amazing. What? Wizards of Ooze? Portable.
What are you gonna do?
Portable restrooms. Portable restrooms.
It's just blowing Matthew's mind over here.
Right. That's what I was
So this is Eric's build, who we talked to just a minute ago. Again, you can see the ball turret that he was showing us earlier on this build as well. So that's another one really impressive build of his. So yeah, all sorts of awesome stuff in this collaborative build. There's a Canadian
Look at that fire station.
mech.
That
Yes.
fire station, right?
Awesome stuff there.
Look at this castle. This castle's pretty cool.
What is this castle?
This-
Is
this base is
sort
kind
of
of
a
amazing.
floating cloud castle.
Do you
Sort of.
think this document had something to do with the creation of this?
I feel like this is their kind of sketch of what their plan was for this build, and I think it turned out really cool. So that's really nice there. Here's a smaller castle creation, Siege of the Twin Dragons. Cool stuff there, lots of
A
minifigs.
ninja temple on the side of a mountain with lava flowing at the top, and dragons, and waterfalls, and plants, and people, and lights, and a Brothers Brick sticker, and a wizard.
All awesome things.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think we've then finished up
Lego.
for this section of the displays.
And Lego,
So-
and Lego, and more Lego.
That's right.
And then
Okay,
let's
we're going to keep
going.
moving down this way so that we can make sure we show you everything before the hall closes here and we get kicked out. So I believe now we are coming to the space displays. So you will notice that at BrickCon, space builders really give it 150%. It's just incredible, the builds on display here. And they're just packed in so many here, so many incredible displays. You can see all of these builds here. They're just amazing.
It's really almost too much. Like in the like really, all of this could be like on what 5 times the amount of tables?
Right. There's so many talented builders that display space creations here, and so many cool builds that you just have to take forever to kind of soak it all in and see everything. So many things that tend to miss your eye because they're just so packed together tightly. But yeah, these really awesome. You got a Space Defense Force, which is kind of this whole group of builds here by Taylor Walker. And then if we come down this direction, fleet of micro spaceships right here. So like there's some little tiny, 2-3 piece builds right there. Just tiny little micro ships. And then you come down here and you have even much larger ships. Ryan Olson did some of this massive, some of these ships down here. Then you got other builders who did the massive kind of larger spaceships, the Normandy and everything. So yeah, it's just incredible. You can even see one builder here. If you don't mind, real quick, what are you working on?
I'm disassembling my build because I'm heading out tomorrow.
So this is a builder who has to get going.
Deconstructing. Sorry.
No, that makes sense. But yeah, so even you got to get it out of the convention eventually, so you take it apart a bit.
Sorry.
That's fine. Very impressive build there, though. And keep coming down this direction. This massive ship in the back here is, I believe, about 12 feet long, which is just incredible. Built by Mark Newman. This is the Universal Explorer. So all sorts of moving parts when that thing's up and running. He did an amazing job with that. Here's the Benium Falcon. So that's kind of like the Benny Millennium Falcon there. Got a space chess set. Very cool. Lots of more classic space stuff down along here. Then you get to the Imperial base. This is Vader's temple. You can see Vader, kind of a large statue there, Darth Vader inside that. Just really neat. Keep moving down this direction. And you've got a whole bunch of, this is outer patrol craft related builds here. We keep moving down this is some old like rock miners type of builds, which are very cool and well detailed. This is Vault 604, and I love this build. This is very well lit here. Did you work on this build?
I'm one of the collaborators, yes.
Okay, awesome. Can you just give a quick overview of kind of what's going on here and what we're looking at?
So Vault 604 is based on the game Fallout Shelter, which is the sim-based game of Fallout. And so the Keith Reed, he was the brainchild of this group mock, and it's a group mock. So what he did is he had this idea that if we do a Fallout Shelter in Lego, you can have all these rooms, and if you come up with a standard, then it's just modular and it clicks together. And anyone in our club, no matter how much or how little Lego they have, they can participate in a mock that ends up being big and impressive. So it's kind of a way to get everyone involved. Right. And so a couple of us talked about what's the standard, figure out the height, the size, and this and that. And once we had a standard, we just opened it up to the club and said, hey, build a room. You can either simulate it based on one of the game rooms. And so some of these rooms look very close to games, like rooms that you'd actually see in the game. And other rooms, we've gone completely wacky. It fits actually quite well with Madness, even though this first premiered at BrickCon. So yeah, we were at BrickCon, and it was so popular that they said, you've got to bring this down to BrickCon. So we did, and we've taken it one step further. And so many people seem excited about this that we're inviting people, AFOLs, we're inviting attendees to the private con to come up to our second annual BrickCon in the spring and follow the standards and bring their own rooms. And we'll make a massive Fallout Shelter.
Okay, awesome. And for real quick, for people who aren't familiar with BrickCon, where does that take place?
That's in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Okay.
But technically it's in Richmond, but it's great. We had our inaugural con last year, and it was a huge success, so we're doing a second. We hope to do it every year. And yeah, it's a collaborative event based on the 3 local lugs of the area. Well, there's 4 now, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. So there's a great convention if you're in that area in Canada, or even in the Seattle area, then you can easily make it up there.
We've been coming down here for years, so now they're coming up there too. Why not party twice a year?
That's right. Might as well. Well, thank you. I appreciate you talking to us about that. So we'll keep moving down this direction here. And we've got, this is a traveling carnival, kind of a Tatooine build. So this is sort of a Star Wars carnival spin-off, which is kind of a funny, interesting idea there. Then you've got some Fifth Element builds there. So if you're a fan of the Fifth Element, some builds in the back there. Here's the Back to the Future. So I think we're in kind of the pop culture movie type section here. So Back to the Future there. Here's Winter in Narnia, so the Chronicles of Narnia movies and books. Here is War Rig right here, a big cool build right there. The Brick Films Theater, which is, you can even see the builder has BrickCon on the back there, so there is a lot of Canadians that come down to this show in Seattle. Keep moving down, the Munsters, a couple really neat builds there with the Munsters. This direction, you've got Star Wars, Rogue One. Then one of my favorite builds here, because I'm a big fan of the movie, is Mary Poppins. This is Admiral Boom's house. So if you've ever seen the movie, this is the Admiral that shoots the cannon off the top of it. And I've always thought that was a really neat part of the movie, and I think this builder did a great job. Krista Simpson, big shout out there. I love this build. I've always been a big Mary Poppins fan. So this, coming around here, you got some Scooby-Doo builds. This build back here, I have been told it's from a movie called Mad World. I believe I got that right, with 4 Mads. I've not seen the movie. I've heard it's very funny, though, so you should probably go check that out. I will probably do that at some point in the future. But it's you can see the scene they were reenacting from the movie right there, so that they did their best. I know I talked to the builders earlier. I'm trying to be as true to the original movie as possible with that build. And then Choosing Poorly, so that's one of the most famous Indiana Jones scenes right there, where they drink out of the cup and it goes poorly for some and better for others. Moving down, Zootopia, popular animated movie there. All the different characters from that. That's very cool. Coming down here.
Pretty cool. Let's look at this bricks of character section over here.
Yes, we're just starting here after the neighborhood of make-believe, which you've got right here. A whole long line of bricks of character, which is lots of different, generally fairly small builds, but lots of really, really cool stuff all along here. So like right here's like a Pokeball you have here.
There's almost so many things in this whole bricks of character section that let's just point out like 4 or 5 of our favorites and spend like more time on that instead of just bruising through the whole thing.
That's true. There's a lot of really neat ones. So right here's a bunch of emojis done by Ian Heath, which are really neat. And then here we have a couple, let's see, here's a build by Tommy Williamson, who I think we have the builder right there. So can you share a few words with us about this?
Yeah, when they announced the theme of Madness, we were very excited because we're big fans of the band. So both Ian and I got together. I don't have my hat. Well, you can see what we went total ska today and celebrated this theme like no other team in the entire con. And this was what I built to celebrate that as well. And I won. I won one step beyond. I won my own trophy. Thanks to you guys who did the voting.
There you go. Very impressive. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate that. So yeah, lots of great builds like that.
Powerpuff Girls?
Powerpuff Girls. That's like Matthew. You said that's your favorite show before you started the tour.
Cartoon Network, yeah.
Yeah. All-time favorite show. So that's very cool. Here's Galactus, Destroyer of Worlds. Adam Dodge, a very talented builder, has built some awesome stuff over the years.
This is probably the single coolest part of BrickCon is bricks of character, because like no other convention really draws so many character like builds, or these are builds that are recognizable, unique, different scales, all kinds of different stuff. It's all unique, it's all special, it's all at BrickCon.
That's exactly right. So keep moving down this direction. I love the Joker bust there as well. That's really neat. And then of course next to that the TARDIS, so the famous police box there. Here's some, like in the back here, you've got some famous movie builds. This is actually the Best Picture nominees from, I believe, 2016. So, Bridge of Spies, The Martian, Revenant, Mad Max down here, The Big Short. So all sorts of cool stuff like that. Famous movies from in the last couple of years here. A Wizard of Oz. There's usually at every convention 1 or 2 really cool Wizard of Oz builds, and I really like this one. It's always really cool to see. There's so many iconic scenes from that people have recreated really nicely with Lego, so that's really cool to see. And in the back, you've got the Xenomorph alien from 1979, so that's really awesome. I love how the builder used the clear pieces there to create that. And then we will keep moving around this direction to more space stuff. Here,
is this a Lego element?
Is this a Lego element? That's a good question. I feel like it is. Yeah.
Lego element. I have never seen that for the life of me. That's very cool.
It's not a very common one, but that is a Lego element. So I believe what we're looking at here, this whole long next section, is a collaborative space between 4 or 5 different builders.
So like Blacktron, all the other space
Mtron down there with the red,
and all the other Ice Planet, I guess, and I don't know, maybe
we know a lot about space.
Don't know a lot about like Lego classic space themes. Kind of sad.
But this is a really great collaboration, and it shows how cool it can be when you collaborate together and work on something like this. So these builders did a great job with all of that. Then if we round the corner here, you can see this build right here is really neat. The Dreadful Angel, which is by Jonathan Walker, the great spaceship here. And just some really talented space builders.
And then let's jump around to this other side of this layout here.
We will make our way around the corner and continue covering the space builds here. Lots of cool stuff. Here's a few builds in the middle here by Chris Roberts, who I had a chance to talk to earlier today. Really great builder. I'm a big fan of this. This is Christopher Manabo. I hope I pronounced that right. Did this build here. Really cool. This is Oscorp Deep Space Reconnaissance Glider. And I love how he did the kind of purple with some green highlights in there. Really, really cool build here. Just very large spaceship. I love it. Did a great job. And then here's Sausage One, who's spaceship with a hot dog suit man there. So that's kind of
Angus McLean.
yes, Angus McLean build there. So I like that kind of a funnier space build.
There's like one of those newfangled Star Wars figure Galador-like things on a actually cool mock.
Yeah, Ray's speeder. I'm sure the designer appreciates you comparing that to Galador.
Well, the new those things are kind of Galador-esque, aren't they? Right? Like a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay.
Anyway, this is a build by Alice Finch's offspring, Thorn. I don't know if that's an appropriate way to refer, but her lovely son, who is incredibly intelligent. This is an amazing build, and I passed by it earlier, and I thought, I just said, wow, that's quite a build there. And to realize, someone that's not like 50 years old did that is kind of amazing because it's very well executed. All the corners are perfectly done. The facets of the wall, all the techniques used on the side here. You see all these different pieces going every which way. Definitely displaying a lot of talent and a lot of skill. And also an award-winning build as well. It appears it has won...
Medium planetary structure.
That is a very specific award, Jesus.
It is a very specific award. That was something interesting. I think this would be a good time to mention that, is that I went to the show in Portugal earlier this year, and one of the big differences is that I think the U.S. shows are a lot more into their rewards and things than the European shows are.
And now let's head on over to the town layout over here. This is a pretty cool town layout. The one thing I really want to point out, though, is that SkyTrain. So... I just have a really big thing for light rail and metro rail, and I just think that's an amazingly cool build. The whole layout is fantastic. I guess we'll kind of sort of start over here, and then we'll wrap around this whole side of the layout. But let's take a closer look at some of these buildings. So look at this one over here. What do you think of this style of building, Joshua?
Yeah, this is great. Actually, I love this building right here. This is I think a rescue mission is what this is called. So sort of a Salvation Army type of place. Yeah, that's really cool.
And it has some interesting design awnings too. It's a very nice town building. The one thing I will say about BrickCon, it is absolutely by far the least town-heavy LEGO convention I've ever been to. This is pretty much it.
Right. We mentioned the space earlier of having so much. Well, I think that kind of comes at the expense of town. So there's much less town here than you see at a lot of the other big shows.
Lots of wonderful builds here, though. Ty, what do we have here? This is bumper cars?
It's bumper cars, yeah. And they go around the track, and they've got you can't even tell, but there's actually a train underneath here. And the train goes around in a circle and carries magnets. Each one of these cars has a magnet on the bottom. And so the train just kind of carries the magnets around, and they all bump into each other and cause confusion.
It's very randomized looking.
It is. The weird thing is that they start going, and that they seem to follow a track, but then somehow they get off track and crash into each other, just like real bumper cars do. And
how'd you put this technique together? It's really cool.
It never really came together in my mind, but I wanted to build some bumper cars. I was inspired by the Joker little poly bag you can get. So I tried to build some of my own. I re-engineered some so they looked a little bit better. And then I thought maybe I can make them move. And so I did some things with some sticks, and I thought, wait a minute, I can automate this whole darn thing. So I did. I just put this train in here, and now they kind of have a mind of their own.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving back down past the bumper city, we've got some more cool stuff. You got a beach town here, and then kind of several beach-themed builds. All the way down to, this is a really impressive one with the Copacabana Beach and then Copacabana Palace there as well. So this is really cool. I love all the little details in here. It's like they've got some great cheese wedge work to make kind of the sidewalk area there. And then even maybe some custom engraved pieces to make the words in the palace there. So I love that. Really, really cool stuff. And down here we have a whole range of builds by a very talented builder who we will try to get some words from, though I think he talking to the public might have lost his voice somewhat. But we'll see if we can get him to give just a couple words to you real quick.
All right, you're from...
Hi.
You're from...
I'm from Norway.
And you're here in Seattle.
In Seattle, yeah, that's true.
You have been sitting behind this table, right, all day, and you've been watching the public come through. You've been talking to them.
Yep.
Has any interesting interaction conspired during the course of the day?
you asking me that question in this way makes me think that maybe there is a special answer you want to hear.
Are people noticing you for interesting things that you've done from interesting sources? Is that what has been occurring?
It's very strange. I was sitting behind the table and I did some builds for the 2 first Lego Adventure books. But this is a while ago, and but I was sitting behind the table, and there's this kid suddenly with his father standing there and shouting over to me, "Hey, what's your name?" I said, "Well, my name is Ara. It says here." He says, "I know you. I know your picture from my book." Says, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." And I walk over to him and I shake his hand and says, nice to meet you. And his dad says, "Can we take a picture?" Yes, of course you can. So yeah, that was a bit of a fun thing. And then 2 hours later, the same thing happens again with a different kid. So it's the first time I've never ever been recognized before, so like that. So yeah, that was fun.
Yes, that's awesome. And for people who aren't familiar with your build, just real quick, kind of get an overview of what's the type of builds you display here.
It's basically the sets from my childhood and other sets from around the same era, displayed alongside with my updated versions, my modern interpretations of them with modern pieces, so slightly more streamlined and more realistic than the ones that I grew up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing with us. I love it. Okay, so we'll keep moving down here. We've got some more great builds to show you as we move through the rectangle. So this is by Grant Davis. This is really awesome, and I think he has even more to add to this build. This is the kind of a cool island build he did here with some really cool water technique, lots of great landscaping. There's even moving parts when he has it running, which unfortunately it's not right now. But the waterfall technique he has is really neat when it's running. So really, really cool kind of sort of pirate imperial island there. Keep moving down here. Replica H&K G36C. So Christopher Hopman has a gun he built here. Now we get into, this is one of my favorite sections of the convention. You get some historical sort of military builds in this section. This is pirates, a lot of pirate ships and imperial ships that are just incredible here. This one is built by Ray Morton, and it actually, when it's on, moves back and forth and kind of rocks back and forth like there are waves, and you can see how it does it here with this kind of Technic parts there. So that's really neat. Then here you got kind of a funny, this is a classic Lego tank, and that might actually move, I believe. And so it's kind of an old looking tank with the classic Lego yellow colors and large Technic gears. Then here is just an incredible, this is Fireship Raid, super huge ship here. You've got the fire ship over here, and then the larger ship kind of firing on it as well. The sails and everything on this, just all the rope and the rigging is incredible in this build. I love it, and they've got all the cannons. The whole of the ship is built perfectly with the black and yellow pieces. Really, really amazing build there. Down here you've got some more kind of modern military builds. You've got helicopter, tanks and stuff around here. World War II farmhouse there. So really neat stuff. This is an interesting build by Chris Malloy. This is the USS Pasiac, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly. That's an American Civil War ironclad ship. And so this is really cool. You can see the kind of iconic low-profile ironclad look to this build. So Chris Malloy did an excellent job with that. I really like that. You don't see many, Civil War ships as Lego builds, so that's really neat. Up here are another couple builds that I'm a big fan of, built by Sean Edmondson. And you've got on the left the Peloponnesian War, so you can see the Greeks there, and then on the right the loss of Tenochtitlan, which is the Aztecs and the Spanish conquistadors there. Both really impressive builds. I love how they did kind of the backgrounds and the forced perspective on those builds. Very cool stuff. Here's in the defense of Meriden. So some cool kind of orc dwarf action going on there. Down here the Assault of Sorrow's Winter, which is a really cool. I like the custom black and white space kind of assault ship they built there. Here you've got The End of the World as We Know It by Josh Whedon and Sean Edmondson, who used, I believe, some Galador-type pieces to make some very interesting creatures here attacking the city and destroying it. So it really is the end of the world for most of those minifigs. Down here, Mad Max War in the Wasteland. Some really cool Mad Max minifigs, sort of custom minifigs this builder's put together with some of the famous Mad Max vehicles in the desert landscape. Then here, World War I Trench, which is really cool. I love the way the builder did this with some of the custom minifigs there and just all sorts of neat stuff. And an old farmhouse back there. This one, actually, I love this trophy here. I believe that's supposed to be kind of like Patton with the famous kind of American flag look behind him there, which I'm a big fan of. Here's the Second Battle of El Alamein, famous battle in Egypt during World War II between the British and the Germans. So the builder did a great job depicting that. Down here, Brandon Walker and Taylor Walker have some superhero-themed builds. The Thor's hammer there, Captain America's Hydra shield. Really cool stuff. And then another day at the Bugle. So the Daily Bugle is being attacked by all sorts of villains, and superheroes are doing their best to save them. Then down here you've got the Flash, which is really cool. I like the way the builder did that version of the Flash, showing him, giving that moving, the running effect there. And some cool kind of underwater builds, a variety of sort of superhero type builds here. That's the Aquaman versus Black Manta is what all that kind of sea type builds back there are. And then coming down here, this is really great collaborative build between several builders, the airport battle from Captain America Civil War. And so here's kind of the iconic part of this with the minifigs about to clash, some midair, some on the ground, and then lots of really great details in here with the planes, the large Ant-Man and everything. Just very impressive overall. All of these builders did a really great job with that. And if we keep moving down this direction,
it's like a wintry town, isn't it?
There is.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that there's so many different wintry. Well, did you build this? Yes. All right, well, talk about it. What is this? Why'd you do this?
This is the Winter Village. It is my favorite theme of Legos. So I personally just got all the sets, and I loved them so much that I bought more of the sets and expanded them. And
you put this out in front of your Christmas tree at Christmas time?
I don't. My kitchen table is about half this size, so this is the first time I've seen it all together.
Now, if you had to say, what do you think about the whole like re-releasing thing, where they like re-released the set that was previously out? Was that a good move, or was that kind of bad? Party foul?
I think it was a fantastic move, because if you look at this, if you see the green garland, that's the new release. The gray is the old. This half is the old build. This half is the new build. And the structural differences on the inside are quite interesting to compare them with kind of new bricks and what they had. So I had a great time building them both into the same set.
Definitely. Now, to close us out here, show us what's your favorite part of this whole layout. What's the one design thing? What is it? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
there are a lot of in jokes and things. But my favorite thing is the skate rink that lights up from underneath, and the church. The church is actually the Santa's workshop that I hated so much I bought two of, and made a church out of it. So.
I like it. Dave, thank you so much for sharing.
And something you did here, I don't know if you mentioned this. I like the way you did the snow. What is this effect here? Yeah.
Yeah, I used the flowers to represent snow, but mainly to break up the studs. It's a way to kind of cover area. But in the build itself, it's great to kind of make snow banks, and you leave it blank and see the studs if you want to make tracks in the snow that look like padded down snow and things. So it's a really effective way. And also, I don't take the flowers off because it makes it a lot easier to clean up.
There you go. Very cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. And then moving on down, we have some more Town and Train, and that kind of rounds us out for Town and Train. I think these are some really cool Thomas the Tank engines, by the way. You want to talk a little bit about this? I'm going to run around the table. What are we looking at?
So the three engines down here, Thomas, Percy, and James, they're actually built by Andre, a guy from Canada. It was actually something we kind of bonded on because I actually have a Thomas on my mock, and so it's been kind of cool that we got to bond over that and chat and kind of compare our models, which is pretty awesome.
What do you have here on display?
And so I've got my mock here. I've got a train station. It's supposed to be just a kind of small railway out in the country somewhere in England.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, I sort of recognize those features where the platform kind of slopes down to the edge. That's a very English country railway type of feature.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's definitely what I was going for.
So what specific sources of inspiration did you find?
Well, my main source of inspiration was actually the models from Thomas the Tank Engine when I was growing up as a kid.
Okay.
And then lately, as an adult, I've been researching a lot of British railways and the heritage railways from, I guess, starting from the 50s when they were actually British Railways was taking them all out. And just kind of just small railways that have been brought back by railway enthusiasts.
Very cool. Now, where are you from?
I grew up in Portland, but I'm actually a Seattle resident now. So.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful build. Thank you for bringing it.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. And I'm going to run around the table now. And I think we'll take a look at some more stuff. Can you still hear me all the way over here? Look, track it on me. You can still hear me? All right, I'm going to go around the other side. This is why a wireless mic is so cool, because you can still hear me even though I'm like 50 feet away. Joshua, what do you have to say about this train?
Yes, that train is incredible. So this is built by J.J. Williams, who did the collaboration with the airport we showed you earlier, the Captain America Civil War. And you see the printing on this is just amazing. And I believe it was done, here's a little advertisement for, I believe, the printer, TNT Mock Supply. Terry Acuna, I believe, did that. And it's just so perfect. The way he printed that is just incredible. And it adds so much to the train that J.J. Williams, we were talking to him earlier today about that. And I know he was really happy with the way that turned out. So that's just really amazing. I love that. A couple of interesting buildings here. This first one is kind of the sort of a ninja temple build with a dragon attacking it.
The Ninja Temple's okay, but the Amtrak Cascades model is even cooler. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you'll know that Amtrak Cascades, I believe it connects Vancouver to Seattle to Portland, and it's an interesting train because I think it's a European to Lego style train, so it kind of pivots on the corners so it can go faster, so the centrifugal force doesn't like derail it. The train kind of like, I guess it sort of like goes with the curve, if that makes sense. At least that's how I understand it, but it's unique within the Amtrak fleet. It's a very, very cool train, and this is a brilliant model because it's a very subtle train. It has like interesting bevels and stuff, but this build is it's very fantastic. I love this model. I was spending a little bit of time earlier taking a look at it. It looks like it's by a guy named David Hensley. So David, wonderful build. I really appreciate that.
Yes, and another cool building I like here, Joshua Gay, really talented builder, did this cool kind of green lime building that's very unique color. You don't see a lot of buildings in that color, so I thought this was kind of a neat building.
Secondary note is that the deepest Lego building you have ever seen? That thing is like 3 feet deep, right?
Yeah, you don't see very many town buildings that go that deep because generally that takes up more room than you would have on the display. So that is cool to see. I think the builder did a great job with that. So I think this comes back around to where we started.
I believe we started off by I talked about that elevated train thing. So I guess with that said, we have some more areas to talk about, but they are on the literal other side of the room. So here at Beyond the Brick, we have a rule of having no dead air at any time, so we're going to have to continue to speak as we walk through the middle of the room. We're not going to be taking a look at anything in particular. So Joshua, what do you think about the waste bins here? This is something interesting. Come over.
The waste bins here, so this is something we don't have in Indiana where I'm from because...
When you go to Indiana or Virginia, you oftentimes just have a trash can. But in Seattle, not only do you have a recycling bin, but you have a food plus compostable bin.
Right.
So they compost here and they recycle here.
So this is something you get in
It's
Seattle. Yes, everywhere. You have like 6 different bins. There's so many options, even in their trash cans.
When you go to like a grocery store or something, or like you're just like out to eat somewhere and you're trying to throw away your food, you have to think about, what do I have? What's compostable? What's recyclable? What do we send to Mars? What do I put in the trash? It's kind of an intellectually frustrating task.
Right. I've never spent so much time thinking about the chemical makeup of whatever is in the things that I am throwing away. So that's rather incredible. But we have left no open airspace on the way over here, and we have arrived at a long row of vehicles built by a variety of builders. A lot of them here built by Lino Martins, who's a very talented vehicle builder. All sorts of awesome vehicles along here. It'd take forever just to go through every single one of them, but he's got a lot of different cool models that we'll show you as we kind of walk down this direction. Here's the Brutal Legend Tour Bus. That's a unique one there. I like that build. The coloring and everything and design of that is really neat. And keep moving down this direction. Still, I think pretty much all these are by Lino still. So like I said, he's done a lot of these over the years. For many, many years, he's been building these models, and they're just incredible. Here's his popcorn wagon, which I think we've showed you in the past, but I'm such a big fan of. I love the way he designed that, all the different sort of gold elements on there. Such a unique little build there. Really, really cool. And then coming on down here, we've got, so some of these, now we're getting into a section by Tim Inman, who's another really talented vehicle builder. He did this Calypso, which I really like, kind of this orangish looking vehicle with a white interior. It's a very unique looking one. And then down here by Tim, really cool stuff all along here. Both just Tim and Lino are very talented. And then at the end, we've got some by Ryan Wood here. So Ryan actually did the excellent keynote speech at BrickCon this year. And then Austin Harper has some of these Mini Cooper vehicles at the end as well. So some really great vehicles there. And I think there is still one section left that we have to show you. I believe is down here.
Over here, and there's a wall, and then there's a castle by Anu
So
Pearson.
these are both Game of Thrones themed builds, and as the Game of Thrones has gotten to be such a hugely popular show,
What is the? Do you know anything about the? It's a fantasy thing, right?
Yes. Game of Thrones is like an HBO TV show that's kind of like castle fantasy type of thing, is the best I can describe
We
it.
don't pay attention to any sports or any intellectual properties, fantasy properties. We only watch documentaries, so we don't know anything about these sorts of.
So if it's not in a documentary, we're basically clueless pretty much most of the time. But this is Anu Pearson, a really great builder who did Pike Castle from the Iron Islands in Westeros. Really cool rock techniques she used on that build. Then here's Micro Scale Castles of Westeros, so all sorts of little castle builds there by Daniel 14. Really great. Here's a build by Guy Himber, who I'm sure you're familiar with. We've talked to him several times on the channel. Long Live the King. So this is another Game of Thrones themed build, and the Game of Thrones builds have gotten much popular as the show has gotten a lot more popular over the years. So you've seen more and more of those. And then here, I think it's appropriate that I believe we're ending on this because I believe this is the last creation. It's such an epic, awesome creation. What do we have here?
This is The Wall by David Gagnon and Keith Reed and Dave Guedes. And apparently it won the Winter is Here award. It almost looks like this award was made for this creation. Like, just take a moment to appreciate the fact that it is basically the mock. This side of it is particularly interesting. These trees are fascinating. What's going on with these trees, Joshua?
These trees are cheese wedge trees, which are really cool. And so basically they just take them and stick them on brick with studs on all the sides, one by one brick with studs on each side. And then you're able to stick all these cheese wedges on and make really interesting tree designs with different branches and all the cheese wedges sticking out in every direction. And it's a really cool way to make a tree.
And then we have the other side of the wall, and this is kind of crazy looking build. So it's like, there's just a lot going on here, but I mean, look at the sort of structure attached to the side of it.
Yes, I think that's like a elevator type thing going down into the Black Castle area here. So that goes to the top of the wall up there. And yeah, it's just incredible. The inside of this thing is like a lot of Technic and everything. It's just really amazing the way these builders did this. So a collaboration with, I believe, several builders from Canada on this. They just did a really, really great job.
Very cool. Now, in a normal situation, we probably could end here, but this expo hall closes at, I believe, 10:27. Or no, it closes at 11 o'clock, and it's only 10:27 right now. So if you made it this far in the video, I guess you wouldn't mind us doing like a few more things. I'm always interested in the water fountains in places like this, so there's a water fountain over here.
I think that's just the obvious next step after that Game of Thrones build.
Yeah, well, the Game of Thrones build is cool, but let's say, do you want to?
I'm actually, after doing this tour, super thirsty, so I feel like, should I do like a taste test? Okay.
How's it taste? All right, here we go. So he's drinking. It's interesting technique.
Very cold. It's very cold. Yeah.
It tastes good.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to go in again to see how the taste is. It's not bad. I've had better, but it's not bad.
It has a good aftertaste. It's a little it's soft on the tongue. You know, it's pretty solid. So that's the men's bathroom. There's the women's bathroom. Here's the concession stand. Decent brownies here at BrickCon. That's the one thing I'll say. And we're not going to keep going around in circles. This is obviously kind of a little bit ludicrous. But to finally finish this out, what do you say, Joshua? Let's go up top and let's get a view from above.
I like that idea.
All right, let's do
We'll
that.
head up the stairs and finish this thing out.
This might very well be my favorite part of BrickCon is the fact that you can
You can just walk right up to this overlook here. So on each side of the room, you've got this. So 2 different sides of the room, and you can look out over the crowd and see when the public's in here, just the massive space full of people just gawking at all of the incredible builds.
And it just kind of gives context to the whole convention, the size of it, everything that's going on here, because you can stand up here and just take in the whole thing at once. So let's just do a little bit of observation here. So starting at the entrance, it looks like we have some AFOLs gathered in their natural habitat, sitting at tables. It appears that socialization might be occurring.
I think I see Wayne, who we talked to at the beginning of this tour, talking down there with several builders, yeah.
I think he's sitting next to John Langlish's mom, very nice lady. They might be talking about Lego, they might be talking about politics, who really knows. Over there you can see Ara, who talked about his builds with us, and a few other builders that all talked about their builds with us. Very nice that they're able to do that. Here we see Marianne Asanuma talking, always talking, very, very, very talkative. Marianne, a lot to say. And then we have some other people. There's Joe Mino down there. He's talking as well. A lot of people are talking here at this convention. A lot of talkers. But yeah, so this is basically BrickCon. It's an amazing convention. A lot of different people here. Hopefully this was no dead air. I don't think we had any dead air.
I don't think so. We just went snap, snap, snap. Just
Even if we had nothing to say, we just kept talking.
Right. Most of the time that's how it was.
Most of the time that's how it was. So with all of that said, I think that's about it. This is BrickCon 2016, Seattle, Seattle Center. October 1st, I believe it is. 10:30. We talked about Lego. We talked to some of the wonderful janitorial staff here about what they thought, and they were able to give us a little bit of an insight. So I think this was an interesting tour.
Right. I hope you guys enjoyed this, showing the whole convention floor. We did our best to talk about as much as possible, so I hope you were able to get a look at what BrickCon 2016 was like.
This is the last word. Get it?